subject right now. And in a few minutes, I'm going to ask Marcia Barbosa to come and join us. Marcia Barbosa is a fantastic woman. She's a professor in physics, and she managed the Physics Institute of the Universidade Federal de Rio Grande do Sul. I got it. For her work on water, she was granted the 2013 L'Oréal UNESCO Prize on Women in Science. And I do believe she can become a Nobel Prize, I hope, next October. And for her work, she received also the Negation Medal from the American Physical Society, and she is Vice President of the International Union on Pure and Applied Physics and member of the Council on both the Brazilian and American Physical Societies. On my side, I just want to find more scientists. Professor Barbosa will remind us how science and technology must be part of any conversation like we had at the forum for scientific advance and new possibility created by science and technology are essential to social change. And she will also give us a vision of the evolution of women in science in Brazil. That comes to the personal story of Marcia Barbosa, and I would like you to applaud her very, 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 okay.
Bem, eu cheguei aqui ontem e estava em pânico. Foi a primeira vez que uma cientista como eu seria exposta a um ambiente desse. Bom, agora vou falar em português, porque quero que minhas colegas do Brasil entendam o que eu vou falar. Well, when I arrived yesterday, I had this surprise of being surrounded by women. Normally, in physics, I would be the only one sitting at the front, the only woman, and probably I would not lose any session, because if I lose a session, everyone would notice. But the great surprise was to hear the problems that you have. In this world that is distant from my world, it's very similar to the problems that women have in science, with one difference. And this difference is that in physics, we begin with small numbers. In the graduate program, on my first day, there were 40 students for girls. This was the first time that I noticed that I'm different, I'm a woman. When I was going to present speeches, it was as if I were transparent. I would be there in front of my poster. Men would walk by without even looking at my poster. I would go after them, asking them to look at my work. Because women, yes, in such a world are transparent. They are not seen. But I continued with my career. I have a presentation that will show a beautiful logo, a work group which was created by the International Physics Union in 1999. This union brings together physicists from the whole world, and in that year they discovered that there were few students interested in physics. This committee that is made up only of men, not like these councils where you have 1, 2, or 3 women. 0 women. They saw that they needed doctorate students, slave work, slaves of physicists, and they said, why not women? With this thought, they formed a work group. I was the first coordinator of this work group, and to transform this lemon into a lemonade, we decided to understand why so few women. Why? And to do this, we organized a conference, and why not in Paris, to bring together women physicists from 75 countries. So imagine. So we had 75 countries, and this was the logo. So what did we discover? I will show what you hate. Numbers. But physicists without numbers are nothing. Here we have an average of all the countries, and here I have graduate students, doctorate students, and professionals. Professionals are not board members. Professionals are not directors. Professionals are those who are at the beginning. These are percentages. You can see that this is 13%. It's what you complained. 13% are the teachers, academics in the world. Very small numbers. Now, a fascinating thing, it's a phenomenon that is universal. What do I mean by that? It happens in Brazil, Argentina, India, Italy, France. It happens all over the world. And we discovered this. We have data by area. They are different in the different countries, but you will notice that it's always falling. So it starts with a high number and then drops. And percentages drop as we go to the beginning of the career. Any region in the world has exactly the same percentage and drop. When the numbers are a little better, you can see by region, that is always for bad reasons. Countries where the percentage of women in physics are better, it's because physics is not a well-qualified career. In Germany, physicists have a great status in society. Women are an exception. But let's understand why, if there's a mystery, few women join and then disappear. What are the reasons why women don't want to go to physics, and when they do, they don't survive? Let's look at the first question. Why women don't want to study physics? I'll tell you two stories. Yesterday morning, I took a taxi in Porto Alegre to go to the airport. When I get a taxi, I talk to the driver, and they ask, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a physicist." He stopped the car and looked back. I think he imagined that I had a third eye in my head, horns, or something very strange. When in Porto Alegre, when it was announced that I won this award, immediately a person in the radio said, "She won an award. She must be really crazy." So this stereotype is very heavy, and it doesn't mean that girls are not interested for maths. In Brazil, we have something called Maths Olympics. The participation of women is 50% until 10 years of age. After 11 years of age, it goes to 30 or 20%. I don't believe that estrogen destroys women's neurons. Therefore, it must be something else. So I made a survey. Scientists always want numbers, sorry. So I made a survey with 11-year-old girls, a questionnaire, and I asked the girls who were 11 years old, how do you imagine a physicist? They imagined a physicist as being a woman who was single, no children, who didn't know how to dance, and that didn't use makeup. And I asked her, how do you see yourself in the future? Oh, I want to be married with children, dancing, and with a postgraduate course. This girl will have a postgraduate course, but definitely not in physics. Actually, the physicists are married, some like me many times. Another important phenomenon that I see as being common among you is the lack of models, the lack of someone to inspire you. When I went to the first international conference, I looked for older women and I asked them for help. And the help they gave me was to say, Marcia, you have to be kind of transparent. They can't notice that you're a woman, maybe they'll treat you as one of them. So, for example, use bad clothes and wrinkled t-shirts to look like the boys. Immediately, I adopted a uniform, mini skirt. Well, this is a profession that has some requirements that are common to your requirements. Physicists must go to conferences to show their work, therefore they have to travel a lot. So conciliate career, family with travel is difficult, as you already know. But there's another characteristic that I heard here that is changing in the corporate world, but didn't change in the world of physicists. Physicists should be aggressive. What do I mean by aggressive? It means that in a conference like this, people have to interrupt me, yell, and say that I'm wrong. If they do that, everyone will say, oh, this guy's good, this guy's good. Or, so this aggressiveness, external aggressiveness, which is important because to face a referee of a scientific magazine that says that your study is worth nothing, you must be aggressive. But you don't have to interrupt people. You don't have to say that others are totally wrong. But in physics, you must do this. You must be aggressive. Well, what are the myths? The girls are not good at these things. Why is this a myth? Because in the statistics that I showed, in some countries, there's a high percentage of women in science. In France, we have 25-30% joining. In Germany, not even 10%. So the phenomenon is not the women. It's the DNA of the German women is not different from the French. The problem is cultural. Women are taught that it's not good for them to know physics. When I was a teenager, I liked physics and went to the lab. My mother would say, Marcia, make believe that you don't know how to fix all these electronics that you can fix because boys don't like this. Secret, some love when I fix their things. Women are not interested in physics. Yes, children have an enormous curiosity. At the Institute, we make presentations in schools and bookstores, and we talk to young people. If the school hasn't destroyed their minds, yes, we talk to them. We talk about nuclear reactors, accelerators, and they're all looking at you. They're interested. We have to stop stereotypes from destroying these minds. Now I will show to you one of the most common myths. It's an issue of time. Marcia, it's only waiting. You have to wait. So I looked at a comparison between two careers, physics and medicine among academics. These are the different levels in scientific career. When you're a scientist, you begin at 2, then 1B, 1A2, 1D, 1C, 1B. A would be a board level. And these are the percentages of doctors and physicists. You can see that the doctors all drop. Everyone, all the numbers drop. You begin with 30%, but at the board, 20%. In physics, you begin with 10%, at the board, 3 to 5%. Here a comparison, the same graph as we say, but now showing men and women to see the difference, how great it is in medicine and physics. Here, as years go by, look, these are red women, blue men. 10 years. 10 years. And if things were changing, we would see a triangle growing. Do you see a triangle? Come on. Do you see a triangle? Do you see things changing? No. Do you see a fluctuation? But you don't see a triangle. You see fluctuation. It goes down, goes up, it's fluctuation. Fluctuation. Because of the size of the database and at all levels. And here you see fluctuation. And notice that in physics the numbers are low, medicine a little better. Remember, women are 50% in medicine. And here at the top of the career. This career, these levels, these are scholarships, were evaluated every 3 years. Every 3 years, you have to show articles, conferences. They don't want to know if you had children. You need those numbers. 2 articles per year in physics. But what if she has children? That's her problem. She'll work more in the years when she doesn't have children. And you see why the numbers are dropping. Last year, because I became the coordinator of this group, 1 woman among 20 men, I was chairman of the agency and I said, I want maternity leave. Fortunately, this man had daughters. This is marvelous when men have daughters. And he gave to the committee the maternity leave. Notice that was 2012. Maternity leave has been a reality in this country for a long time, but for this class, for researchers, it was not true. It was not even obvious. And among my colleagues, physicists, they didn't understand why they needed this. In other words, to make progress, we had to do many things. One thing we cannot do, we cannot stop. We need to understand that having few women in physics is serious. The world has problems in energy, environment, conservation, global warming. All these areas are areas that include physics. And we would be excluding the possibility of solving this problem for 50% of the population. Physics is within the technology that is in your bag. We cannot stop knowing how cell phones work, how semiconductors work in cell phones in 50% of the population. We cannot really do this. If we want to develop our country and have a stable world, we need to change this current that says that it's bad to be a scientist because you look like a nerd, you're strange. This has to change. How does this change? With us. Each one of us is an educator. At home, in the family, in the company. We must enable to have more women in sciences. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Barbosa. Well, I'm going to do what is supposed to be the closing speech, but nothing is closed because we're going to come back next year. I'll tell you later on. Really sincerely, the first time I came to Brazil was 30 years ago. And I had a lot of admiration for Brazil, and I was dreaming to marry a Brazilian guy. It has not been the case. I married a Frenchman. What I want to tell you, it's very sincerely, it has been more than a pleasure to be among you. It was really a challenge last year, and it's confirmed this year. And this is a pleasure to be with you at the second Women's from Brazil. It's a pleasure to renew friendship and bonds with the men and women we attended the forum last year. And all year long, of course, we keep in touch by telephone, by mail, etc. And also those who came to our global meeting in Deauville. We are very happy to say that this is the Brazilian Women's Forum, and to see that, and to say to you that we welcome people from more than 23 countries exactly. Now, in Brazil, apparently, surely, women bear the difference. So, did we make a difference? The past 2 days have included diverse contribution, deep and rich debates, which we can maybe all take back home and try to be very practical. Workshops, training sessions have taught specific skills to coach women to be ready to serve on company boards, but not only. Together, we welcome, I think, 5 fabulous rising talents. Together also, we created new conversation between Brazil and our friend from South Africa. And probably, we're going to try to create a forum with you in South Africa. It's not a dream, I think it's going to be a reality. And Brazilian women will come, of course, to South Africa. 25 CEOs and corporate leaders agreed to become champions of women leadership. They will be working as CEO champions throughout the world, and they accepted to come back in November and see if they have applied, and it was reality with what was talked and taught here. Bain and Company disclosed here a very important study on gender diversity in Brazil. And also McKinsey Company launched the first Women Matter Latin America. I think that for all of us, it has been an outstanding experience to listen to these strong and skillful voices and to connect with each other and to pull out our experience. I'm going to have also very difficult exercises because my team said, please, please, Jacqueline, don't forget one name. So it's written in big, big letters. Because I want to say that before we create a forum, I always want to be sure that we have partners, and partners are becoming friends, and partners are essential because partners, after they go back in the companies, they meet people and say, we're being to the Women's Forum, and it's absolutely necessary to do things for women. And nothing could be possible if without our partners, and there are so many of them, I'm going to take a deep breath before my team says, okay, don't forget anything again. The first thing is Banco do Brasil, and really Hyatt hotels and resort have been fantastic because last year we came and asked them if they could invite the Women's Forum to come here, and they probably will be with us in other countries. PepsiCo, Krista Pilot, she's fantastic. I'll tell you why. She came with her husband. He's a very nice man, and I have picture of the baby, 4 months old, in the back of his father, and all around the forum. The baby, the father, and he takes care of the children, and I think it was fantastic to come with a baby. If you have twins, or triples, or quadruples, or quintuples, well, you can't come with them. We'll manage. Renault-Nissan Alliance, they're the partner of the Women's Forum since the beginning. And everybody listened to Carlos Ghosn, and he has been in the company, doing fantastic thing for women. Avon is our new friend. They arrived in April in the company, and we hope we're going to build things with them. Ben & Company, Cartier with the Women Awards, and if you don't know Cartier, they're having a jury every year. I think they meet more than 700 young women, and I think they did really a great job to help women. Sanofi, our friends from Sanofi, you're going to have a surprise a little bit later on. There's when we have a woman with a lot of energy in France, we said she has more than 100,000 volts, and she is here just in front of me. Hey BB, our friend ABB, I don't know if they're here, but they have been helping us. They're in Deauville also. They're in Myanmar also. Oh, you're here. So they started in Brazil, they've been in Deauville, and we're going to go to Yangon, to Burma, because we're going to make a forum at the demand of Aung San Suu Kyi, who is a fantastic person on the 6th and 7th of December this year. You are all invited, but please book your plane tickets because it's very difficult to go there. Alcoa, Ernst & Young, Nestle, Sodexo, our friends Sodexo, they come everywhere with us also. Just like, you know, artists, when we travel, we all go together and from one place to another. A new friend, Standard Bank. A new friend, White Martins. Cosmiti, they helped me to be awake all the time those last 2 days. L'Oreal, then we're gonna have probably L'Oreal give me a nice, you know, face every day. McKinsey & Company. I'm on the board of Champagne Pommery, but I don't drink too much. PwC, Tupperware, Unimed, and our support partners, ABF, AME, IBCG, Instituto, Ethos, Women Corporate Directors. When you make a forum like that, we need, of course, media as partners. It's very important because we can just stay between us like that, but if you don't hear the voices of women outside, it's nonsense. We can have a party and be between friends, but that's not enough. So our media partners are Editorial Abril, AFP, CNN, Editorial Global, International Herald Tribune, La Tribune, RFI, and France 24, and other partners, other media that have been talking of us those last days. And of course, I want Dudalina has been with us. I didn't wear the shirt of Dudalina because she gave me a 50 size, but I can wear still a 42 size. So I have to come up to there. And Ariana's will give us the bags and the sandals that benefit the foundation, IPE. And our partners have all demonstrated their vision of a better and more connected future, not only in Brazil, but in beyond. The last thing I want to say is, I couldn't attend all the session because I have to work behind the doors. But I read all the things and listened to you. We have to be win-win. This is very important. Don't forget, we all have personal stories, joyful, dramatic. If we're here, I think that we can help other women. If we have the chance to have an apartment, to have a family, to have shoes, to have clothes, to be able to live every day, that means we can help other women. That's the reason the Women's Forum, we want to go in difficult countries sometimes, all the time, to help women. We are, I think, the agent of change. We're really the agent of change. And we bring different voice and visions complementary to men. We need men. But we have, and they have to understand, they have to listen to our voice and understand our vision. Because we tend to be open to all kind of perspective, to help, to sponsor, to develop new talents, which was the case with Cartier and the different companies you find there. Secondly, it's very important, women through health and education invest in the future. They invent the future. Without education, we can do nothing. It's very important. Education can avoid wars, can help people to work, and also create a social link. Because third, women contribute absolutely more maybe than everybody. The statistics say sometimes 80% to the economic growth. So let's go on and fight. Be open, listen to people, love the people. Love is important to get friendship. We have to listen to another. This is very, very important. I was outside in the street when I saw all those young people walking the street. They need to live, they need to work, they need to be understood, they need to be loved. It's the essential thing in life, I think. That's my personal point of view. And also, I want to tell you that you cannot do a single damn thing in life if you don't have a team. And my team is very important for me, the Women's Forum, all those guys and girls there, they've been doing a great job. And I'm not going to sit everybody, but I have a program director, a project manager, and even all those that I work with, they have been working days and nights, and they've been dreaming of Brazil since last year. So it's a joy for them to come here. And also, when we're in a country, we work with the people in the country. So I want to thank AV Agency. They have been working from Sunday morning here, all night long to organize the whole thing. And of course, Paolo Andreelli from Publicis, and my friends at the Grand Hyatt that make everything possible. But some people left because I think there's a problem of traffic. But I want to thank you very sincerely, all the participants, everybody here. You're great people, fantastic. I could spend part of my life listening to you because you give me things. So you're great. Please, please, never change. Don't change. Holler, fight, smile, love. Go ahead. Because if you dare, the difference remain different. I would like to thank you all. Beijos, you say in Portuguese. I embrace you all. Then I'm going to go on, if you mind, and I'm going to introduce a fantastic person, I see, Mrs. 100,000 Volt. Mrs. 100,000 Volt, Eliana Tameirão. Could you come, please? That lady, I met her recently. She's always laughing and smiling. That's great. So I just got to present her quite quickly because we're going to call Panmela also as a biology degree, and also she is the general manager of Genzyme. Yeah. Very important because that pioneer company works in the treatment of genetic disease. My dear Eliana, can we call and can you call together Panmela? 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 This is your turn.
Good evening. I have the pleasure and the honor to announce the winner in the auction that we had here. And Pamela Castro is an artist, also an activist in the feminist movement, and she's a woman. Well, the winner is Marie-Anne Ribeiro from Urbana. Congratulations. So it's a great pleasure to participate in the second edition of the Women's Forum. We hope to have the opportunity to meet again in the next edition next year and continue these discussions. Congratulations. Well, now I'd like to invite you all for a cocktail that is being served outside, and we can continue talking. Thank you.